What's up? Welcome to the shop and my completed workbench. It's taken a long time, but it's finally done. Two more videos are up today. This one shows the entire build, and this one shows the last few things that I had to do to finish this bench off. And in this video, I want to run down the features of this bench that I believe make it unique and interesting. First off, the base is metal, obviously. It's the first thing that kind of grabs your eye compared to other fine woodworking benches. And I think that looks good. I like the metal and wood look on nice pieces of furniture, and the bench is no different. I think it's a cool look and a unique look. So I'm happy with that, but there are functional reasons why it's metal as well. And I'm going to go through them now. First off, it gives a very clean look with no stretchers, runners, nothing joining the two legs, and it's still like there's no way this thing is going to rack front to back. The welds are very heavy. It's extremely solid. Without any additional support. I don't think that would be possible. I wouldn't be comfortable trying to do that with wood. Now someday I might have a shelf or a tool cabinet or something under here, but having those stretchers, whatever, in the way would only take up space that I could do something else with. So that's the first thing it allowed me to do. Now secondly, let's get some of this stuff out of the way and think about how the joinery works under the bench. So each of the halves of the split top are supported right in the center by the steel posts, and the steel posts are joined a good bit below the bench by these pipes. Now this might be possible with wood to have these supports dropped lower, but that would take some thinking and planning on how to make this joint up here strong enough so that the two halves don't wobble. With metal it's very easy. So having the base metal is really what allowed me to drop these supports down. I know someone can probably figure out how to do it with wood, but metal made it very simple. So whoop-de-doo, who cares about that, right? Well, hang on. I wanted the center tool support because it's handy to put things in there sometimes, and it's also nice to set it up so that if you scoot it over, it pops up by ½ inch that you can use for a planing stop or a backstop for various things. But I also like having the split top for putting a clamp in for various glue-up operations. Obviously, you need to take the center tool rest out. And in all other designs that I know of, that means just taking this out and leaning it up against the wall or something. Well, with my design, since the two supports are what it rests on, and those are lower than the bottom of the tabletop, you can fit all the way down through and be completely down underneath the plane of the top of the bench and still have room to get a clamp in. Not a huge advantage, but I wanted to try to be thoughtful about every aspect of this bench. I'm selling the plans for it, link in description, and there's a good chance I'll be using this bench for the rest of my life. So every reason to put some thought in and really get it as good as I can possibly get it. What's that you say? No stretchers means no dead man? Metal to the rescue again. So I made this to jam between the bench top and the floor, and some magnets on the top. Hold it nicely in place while you position it and push the arms down to jam it between the floor and the bench top. It's very solid. And you can put this peg where you need it and use the vise, which I'll get to in a second, for your dead man functionality. Quick aside, since twin screw vices are non-racking, the twin turbo vise is as good or better than a leg vise to function like this because the jaw stays parallel. So we can check the box on dead man functionality. Next, let's talk about the dogs. First off, they are round. I knew I wanted round because I like using these kind of hold downs. And I didn't want any extra holes in the bench. I want to just be able to pop a dog out and use that for the hold down, so square doesn't really work. I mean, they work okay, but not as good as round. But I wanted the dogs to be able to stay up just like the square ones with the little spring piece in them. That's a little harder to pull off with a round one. So there are magnets embedded in this strip, and the posts of the dogs are metal. So it keeps with the theme of metal and wood and solves the problem in an interesting way, and overall cleans my workbench up. There's just fewer holes in it. Speaking of fewer holes, you can see that I space the dogs a lot further than a lot of other benches. And that's nice, not just for a cleaner look on the bench and not as many holes in the thing. It's also a lot less work because each one of the dogs you make and holes you drill adds extra time. So it's nice to be able to space those out. Now the reasoning for closer dogs, even like twice as close as these, is that it takes a long time. If you just barely miss this one, need to go here, or let's think about the other way around. You just barely miss this one and need to go to this one. That means you need to open the vise about that full distance. If you have a vise with 2 speeds, it's about 5 or 6 times as fast as a normal twin screw vise. That's not really such a big deal, so it lets you space the dogs out more. So finally, the vices themselves. Obviously, I've talked a lot about these, seeing as I'm selling them or pre-selling them right now. Link in description. Having a fast travel twin screw vise with a large distance between the 2 screws and the functionality of non-racking so it can work in this capacity with the dead man like you saw, and for anything else where you're clamping outside of the screws, is really nice. So maybe I'll take this opportunity to thank everyone for supporting me on Kickstarter, because I never could have justified making the smaller 14-inch version for myself if the project didn't fund. I would have had to put something else that I like less on the front of this bench. So this bench is possible because you trusted me and you supported me in that Kickstarter. I'm going to come through for you. Still looking good on October ship date, and if you want to get in on that, pre-sales are still open on my website for almost the same price that the Kickstarter folks paid. One last thing, conventional wisdom is that you keep the front of the legs in the same plane as the front of the bench so that if you want to clamp a board against the leg with its end facing up to work that end, you'll be able to do it easily. Now I explained why I wanted these recessed, but I know if I don't come up with a solution, somebody will butt me on the functionality here. And even though I don't know if I'll ever actually use this, I wanted to have the answer. So I cut a block to the right size and put some magnets in it. I can go anywhere on the leg, allowing you to clamp this up just like the traditional design allows you to. Again, I might never do this, but now no one can tell me I can't. And again, the metal legs make that solution easier. So I believe that's everything. Check out the vise pre-sale, check out the plans. Let me know what you think of this bench. Catch you next time.